much anticipated elections draw near, we continue to engage with different political leaders as well as, of course, independent candidates. Today, we're very pleased to be joined in studio by independent candidate Mr. Blessings Ramoba. Blessing, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us on SA Today. Very elusive you are. We've been expecting you for quite some time, but talk to us about the fact that you still, in fact, the president of the Employment Rights Party, but basically talk to us about who is Blessings Ramoba. How and when did you develop to embark on your solo journey towards the union buildings?
Okay, my name is Blessings Ramoba, and good evening good day to your listeners and to your viewers. My name is Blessings Ramoba. My activism started while I was still at the University of Johannesburg, studying mining engineering. Later on, I studied labor law. So I do have two degrees, one in mining, one in labor law, which is honors. But in terms of, to expand my activism, I founded the Mining Forum of South Africa, and that was 2015, which advocates for the rights of communities where mining companies are operating, and also making sure that for the implementation of the mining charter. Recently, I founded the Employment Rights Party, which because of I saw the unemployment high rate in the country, increasing. And as a concerned citizen of this country, I saw that there's something that which I can do, which is to add my voice towards policies that can create employment in the country.
And speaking of employment, Blessing, you've been on various platforms like radio as well, trying to, of course, promoting your manifesto. Now, as independent candidates, we don't get to see much of your manifestos, but I did see on my research here that your manifesto will focus on some of these, which is unemployment, the championing and industrialization of job creation, as well as improving education and so forth. Talk to us about some of your main focuses and why these ones, and what's different from what the rest of the big parties, political parties are offering.
Very important. And I think the way the country is going in the wrong direction. First of all, you cannot create employment if you don't have a stable source of energy. And one of the things that which we are bringing forward, there is a policy that was brought up by the ANC now of just transition principle, which is ushering in the renewables energy, the likes of solar and solar and wind energy, and while destroying the coal power plants, and which we have got, abundant coal, minerals, deposit in the country, whereas we are busy closing these power stations, the demand of coal in Europe is increasing because they need this coal, whereas we are not yet industrialized, we are not yet developed, and then we are destroying the source of energy that's supposed to actually, build this country. More importantly, we still need the nuclear energy so that we are able to create jobs. Investors, when they are looking to invest in a country, one of the things that they look at is they look at the source, the energy availability in a country. Will they be able to industrialize in the country? Because if you want to industrialize, then you need abundant source of energy. So what we are bringing forward first to deal with unemployment is that let's have a stable source of energy, which we must actually revive the coal plants that which we currently have in the country, make sure that we increase the life and maybe maintain them, and also build more power stations from these coal plants. If you look at Mpumalanga itself, its economy is centralized on mining itself. If we are destroying this power station, we are also destroying the livelihoods of people of Mpumalanga, which is what is actually making them survive. So what we need to do is to build more power stations. If we can, we must also encourage mixed energy. Let's usher in the new renewables, but while we are also building on power stations for coal and not destroying them, because while we are destroying Europe, we are actually sponsoring jobs elsewhere. I'm a mining engineer by profession. I know the mineral deposit of this country. We have got vast of minerals in this country, and we are not making use of them. And if we are speaking about industrialization, one of the things that we are saying is that we must start with beneficial beneficiation of our minerals. Let's beneficiate our minerals. At least 50% of our minerals must be, beneficiated here. Let's change the mining charter. The mining charter must compel each and every miner to say that you must beneficiate your minerals in the country, at least 50%. And that is a trajectory that which we are going to take in a way of creating, employment in the country. More importantly, while we are busy industrialized, we've got a source of energy and a reliable one. Industries will be coming to South Africa. Manufacturers will be coming to the country. We cannot produce anything. We don't even have a vehicle of our own. Whereas we've got, the PGMs, the platinum group metals in the country, abundant of them. I mean, we've got one of the largest reserves in the world of platinum. And the cars that which we are driving today, they are using these minerals. So what I'm saying is that we need to make sure that we industrialize as a country. Let's push, the policies that which will create employment in the country, and let's shy away from policies that will, hinder investment in the country. For example, expropriation of land without compensation. That also threatens property rights. Nationalization of mines. Also, that threatens, property rights. We shouldn't do that. What we need to do is to make sure that we collect enough tax from these mining companies. There is what we call tax illicit outflows. Currently, in the mining sector, we are not collecting enough, taxes that as we should, because companies, what they do is that they actually report they produce millions of tons, but they produce less. Then we tax them based on the little that which they've reported. So meaning that there's a lot of money that is leaving the country unaccounted, and not only mining, even other sectors of the economy. There is a lot of money that which is leaving this country illegally, and that money is supposed to eradicate poverty of our people that are currently suffering today.
Blessing, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this interview are going to say he's already said that he's got a mining background.
Correct.
So how is he going to cater for the everyday South African in terms of providing those jobs? And what are you going to do differently to implement those policies that has taken some other parties, or they failed at implementing in the past 30 years?
We've got jobs in South Africa. We've got jobs, but our jobs, some of them are given to, foreigners. Not every foreign national who come to South Africa must do every job. We must select to say, this is the type of work a foreign national can do, and this is the type of work that South Africans can do. You cannot come to the country and be a truck driver. You can't come also in this country and run a spaza shop. Well, I mean, we've got, entrepreneurs who can do that. Even businesses themselves. If we stop foreign national from, becoming civil engineers in the country.
But that is from an immigration aspect.
Correct. That is from there.
Are you also going to be bolstering?
Those also is one of our policies to make sure that we strengthen our borders. Not only that, strengthening our borders. Businesses in South Africa, we must make sure that there are certain businesses that must be operated by South Africans. There are certain businesses that which must be operated, we must give them to foreigners. And which are those businesses? To come and manufacture, bring technology in this country, come and manufacture, products like cell phones, which we do not, produce much in this country. The cars that which we are talking about, let them manufacture here. By so doing, we are adding value to our economy. We are also increasing employment. And I can tell you this, the informal businesses in South Africa contribute, a lot of money, to our economy. Imagine if South Africans were the only ones in that, in that sector. By so doing, we'll reduce also the unemployment. Because now I can tell you, our people cannot compete with these people who are foreign nationals who are operating, spaza shops in our community. They are now in our villages. They are now in our townships. We should stop them and say no. Those businesses must only be operated by South Africans. If they want to come to this country, they must come with an investment. They must come in this country and add value, technologies, bring machines that we do not have in the country.
It sounds similar, Blessing, to some of the announcements that were announced by the Minister of Home Affairs.
Of course,
it is recent
because of
provisions of the overhaul of the immigration system.
We've been making noise on the ground. They are now stealing our ideas because we have been making noise on the ground to say, let jobs that which South African can do be given to only South Africans. Our people are suffering. If I can tell you this, we've got about 18 million people in South Africa who are dependent on grant out of 62 million people. Now, I can tell you that's not sustainable, meaning that we are a poor nation, but in a very rich country. So we can be rich, but we just have to make sure that we strengthen. If you go to Botswana, they've got those laws. You cannot just go there and open a spaza shop.
So it's failure at policy level is
correct.
What you're basically
that's why we are here. That's
so
why
let's talk about then your vision for South Africa in
Yeah.
totality. Where do you see South Africa with Blessing Ramoba at the helm post the May 29th poll?
My passion is on, reducing the unemployment. And that itself, you cannot just do it. You have to do it through policy.
Absolutely, that's what we've been talking about.
I'm advocating for policies that which will also enhance, investment in the country. I can tell you this. The government...
Do you think you're going to get support though, Blessing?
Yeah.
Because we've seen how coalitions, which are still like a huge, like they're in total disarray in the various metros that are currently being governed by coalitions. So do you think independent candidates are going to be a better option for the majority of South Africa when it comes to
candidates are the future for this country, are the future of this country. You see, right now, if I get about 90,000 votes, then I will get a seat in parliament to represent my constituency. But I can tell you this, right? In future, an independent candidate must be able to contest the elections to go to union building.
True.
And so, meaning that it's unconstitutional right now. If I get about 2 million votes, I'm the only one to go into, to parliament. Whereas other parties can get 2 million.
And it's easier for accountability.
Yes,
we just taste Blessing because we know.
That's what I'm saying. Now, we have to make sure that, so the reason why we also want to actually be a policymaker by being in parliament
That's
is
your
also
closing
advance this, idea of independent candidate that people must choose their leaders from the ground. They must select you and elect you a president, other than a constituency of a political party where you have to go to according to party line, and things like that.
All right, Blessing, thank you so much for joining us on SA Today, and all the best in the upcoming election. That is independent candidate there, Mr. Blessing Ramoba, who says he's going to be championing those jobs as well as the improved and as well as overhauled immigration as well as education system in the country in order to make those policies work for South Africa.